So, first of all, at Inmobi, we do a lot of research. It's one of the things that we do constantly throughout the year, and we're always updating our research. One of the initial studies we did, because we want to understand our consumers better, is we actually asked consumers globally, how do they feel about mobile ads? How comfortable do they feel? Interestingly enough, Asia came up highest. 69% of the people that responded to our survey are actually comfortable or very comfortable or comfortable with mobile ads. So that in itself tells us that users are ready. When we compared that to other regions, say Europe and the US, we found that Asia was ahead. So more people in Asia are actually more comfortable with mobile ads than their counterparts in Europe or the US.
Do we know why?
Actually, I think it might be that users are more comfortable in general with their mobile phones here in Asia than in Europe and the US. There's more browsers. People are constantly browsing here in with their mobile phones here in Asia. So I think they're more comfortable in general with interacting with their phone beyond the call. So we actually ran a survey recently. So we've established that users are comfortable with mobile advertising. So what we did then, we wanted to understand how can we take it to the next level. So we did our next survey, or our next piece of research around mobile shopping and mobile commerce. And when we basically went out and asked users how have they actually shopped on their mobile before. And we did this specifically at a global level, at an APAC level, and even Singapore level. And we found that 52% of Singaporeans have already shopped on their mobile. Now the majority of that is digital goods, but the interesting part was that categories like consumer electronics, travel, were already above the 10% mark. So users, even though digital goods made up the majority of the type of shopping that they were doing, other categories were above that 10% mark that took PC so long to get to. The interesting thing was when we compared that to the Asia Pacific numbers, or Asia in general, we found that 80% of people in Asia have already shopped on the mobile. And again, this is mobile web users. I have to put things into context. These are mobile web users. These are people we asked that were browsing the web and seeing ads from our network. And that's a strange one because Singaporeans love to shop. So intuitively, you would think that Singaporeans would be more comfortable with their mobile phone. But in actual fact, when you add the mobile-first countries like India and Indonesia to the mix, it starts to skew the results the other way. These people may not have a PC in their house. They may not have a fast internet connection. So the mobile truly becomes their first point of accessing the internet. Well, what we can say is that certain markets are very, very smartphone-oriented, like Singapore. For instance, 89% of our traffic in Singapore comes from Apple and Android, so it's a high-end market here. But we found the same thing when we asked the question, we knew if there were a smartphone user or a non-smartphone user, because we can detect that data on our network. So what we did, we compared the results. And smartphone users actually prefer mobile more often than PC when compared to non-smartphone users. Which again, this is counterintuitive. You would think that an iPhone with this great experience, that these people will be doing more shopping and like it more than PC. In actual fact, it's the opposite, smartphone user. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying about, when we opened it up from Singapore to Asia. The fact is that we think it's due to the PC penetration. If you're a non-smartphone user, you may not have that shiny PC at home. You may not even have internet access at home, for that matter. And so your mobile might be your first point of access. If you have an iPhone, for example, here in Singapore, there's a really good chance you have a PC at home. You've used the PC for years, and the iPhone was just an upgrade, basically. But these non-smartphone users, actually, this may be their first opportunity to do real internet shopping. So first they have to try. But it's our job, if we're leading here in this area, we need to educate. And so I think education around mobile is still in its early days. So part of our job is to educate the agencies and educate the brands. So that's what we do. The whole research concept of what we're trying to put in place here is to fill a gap. Right now there's not a whole lot of consumer insight on mobile advertising out in the market today. And what's there is not really at a global scale. So we're trying to close that gap. And that in itself will help, I think, agencies and brands feel more comfortable. The main thing is they need to try. Any agency or brand that I've worked with that have tried mobile advertising continues. And they continue at a rapid rate. So I can pinpoint agencies even around this region that have started working with us and now do exponentially more